Hi and welcome to Sparkle Chart.
Hello gorgeous people. Today I'm going to be looking at Dina Wakley's pouring medium and cell creator to create a unique acrylic pour. Today's little video could turn out to be an awesome project or a cautionary tale, so let's see what happens. So I've grabbed the Dina Wakley pouring medium kit and it comes with a little bottle of cell creator. And this is the stuff that makes the bubbles in acrylic pours. So I'm going to try an acrylic pour on top of my Prima mixed media journal. Yep, on top of here. You don't have to have all of these supplies, but I figured if I was going to do it, I may as well give a whole lot of things a test out all at the same time. So I have a couple of these little mixing cups with stirring sticks. Now the colours I'm going to be using with this are a Dina Wakley heavy body acrylic paint. This is not necessarily recommended for use with this product, but we'll see how that goes. As I said, it's all an experiment. Then I have 3 paints that are recommended for use with this, just to see what it's supposed to look like. So I have blackberry, magenta and fuchsia in the Dina Wakley paint line. And then just because I want to try and see what it looks like, I've got a Time Travel to Your Magical from Lindy's, and because why not? If you're going to try something, try it big. I'm going to add some glitter into the mix as well. Now it can be anything. I've just got some sparkly stars here, which I think were kind of cute. Now I can stamp over the top because I know it says so. Dina says you can on the pouring medium bottle. I've got some Dina Wakley stamps which will fit very nicely on my journal cover. Or I've got a Holtz Stencil and I can add some stenciling. Now I'm kind of wondering if I should protect the pages somehow. Might just wrap a piece of paper around there, just in case. And it'll lie nice and flat, we're ready to go. So I'm going to start by adding a little bit of the pouring medium to the cups. Now with the pouring medium, it says mix 1 colour paint with Dina Wakley pouring medium, working with a 3:1 ratio. Okay, so 3 parts medium, 1 part paint, and mix with a stirring stick until combined. I can do that. And I'm going to do a dirty pour. So once I've got all of this paint added together, I'm going to tip it all into the 1 cup and then tip it over my notebook. So I'm just going to add, as instructed, a teensy bit into here. And with the pouring medium are the blackberry, magenta, and fuchsia. Now I still need enough to be able to mix, so I might have to be a little bit more generous there. And of course in this last cup I'm going to try the heavy body paint. Add a little pouring medium to each little cup and then mix well. Now I'm just going by feel here. If it doesn't feel runny enough to actually pour, I'm adding a little bit more of the pouring medium. Now I'm assuming that the heavy body paint will need a little bit more encouraging to mix with the pouring medium and might even need some more pouring medium. Now all of these are water-based products, so I'm assuming here that I can add a little bit of water to the bottom so that I can activate my magicals. So I've got my Time Travel Teal. I'm going to add a little bit more than I normally would. Give this a good stir. Okay, so I have my 5 mixes, the magicals and the 4 different paints. Now the next thing I'm going to do is drip a little bit of cell creator into each. So in some I'm going to add 1 drop and in others I'll add more. Now, from what I can find online, it says the cell creator changes the density of your paint mixtures to create isolated variations in colour, referred to as cells. Add 1 drop of cell creator to each cup of paint mixed with pouring medium. Just give it a little stir so it's mixed in. Now this one's still quite thick, so I'm just going to add a little bit more of the pouring medium. Okay, I think that's all stirred. So I'm going to add a little bit of glitter to each one and see how we go. Okay, so this one is being poured into the Magical Micas mix. Just get as much of that out of the little jar as I can. And then the pink is going in next. Then the fuchsia. And lastly, this beautiful turquoise. Moment of truth. Alright, So I have a little plastic tray here with my mixed media journal from Prima. But I think I want to put this in there too. Now, oh, it's a notebook I've been working on. And I think it could look really cool. Okay, I'm really nervous. That's a lot of paint right here. A lot of paint. Let's give it a go. So if I understand correctly, for a dirty pour, I just have to upend this on the surface. And then remove the cup. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay. Oh, I'm so nervous here. 1, 2, 3, remove the cup. Oh. So glad I've got that book underneath to catch all that yummy extra stuff. Oh, let's just go for it all over the surface here. Now, from what I can see online, you can encourage bits of it to move around your page if you want to, but I'm kind of loving how it's looking. Let's see if I can get that turquoise to migrate at all. Okay, that is so pretty. Now I've got a little puddle on this notebook as well. So what I'm going to do is pick it up and put this one down here and then move this on the surface a bit. So my acrylic pour didn't turn out quite like I expected, but I think it's because I did it on such a small scale with so little paint. And I think perhaps that mixing my magicals with water to begin with made this a little bit more liquidy than it might have been otherwise. But I did say it was an experiment and I am quite happy with the results. I've got lots of beautiful cells, really interesting colours and textures, and it's a background I couldn't have created any other way. But it is going to need some embellishment because it is so not bright enough by itself. Well, not for me anyway. The other thing I learned is don't put the glitter into the paint mix because it doesn't sit on the surface like I had hoped it might. It almost didn't show at all, but sprinkling it over the top while it was still wet worked a treat and it looks amazing. So I've grabbed a Dina Wakley stamp and I'm just going to stamp it in black archival ink. Now this won't show all that well on my mixed media cover because it's already quite dark. Now my stamped outline shows quite well in some lights and not so well in others. So I'm just going to outline it with my white paint pen. So I'm just going to be very brave and bold and go around the outside and the edges and make sure it does look a little bit messy, just like Dina's. And this is part of Dina's drawing style. It's very free and rather beautiful. Now, it's going to need something else extra. So I'm going to add some numbers down this side. I'm going to use the turquoise blue heavy body acrylic paint. Now just because I have a little extra paint, I'm going to add that same design on the back of the cover. Alright, that's looking cool. So time to add a few more little elements, some stencils and punchinella, just to get a little bit of pattern. Just add a little bit of paint through the punchinella. Alright, so that's adding a little bit of colour and I've kept to the same colour I've used. I've used the magenta Dina Wakley paint for that. And I almost want to add a bit of pink to the edges here. I don't know why. Sometimes I just do things because I just feel like it needs it. And right now, I feel like it needs it. So just using my finger again, a little bit of paint at a time. All right, a few more little stenciled bits and I think we're almost finished. So I'm going to add, I'm going to use these larger bits of punchinella as a stencil. So I'm going to use Mermaid Teal. Now this is not a colour I've used, but it will go really nicely with what we have here. All right, I think that's probably enough of the teal on the front cover there. Dry the paint off with a heat gun before continuing. All right, just a few more little touches and I'm done. So I'm going to add a few of these tiny stars using the metallic Gold Rush. Now make sure you try and add a few little stars towards the edges as well, just so that the pattern kind of continues. Alright, so now we've got stars pretty much everywhere. Okay, now I've got a little bit of Higgins Super White waterproof drawing ink. I'm going to use this to add some blobs. Always scary, you never know if it's going to turn out well. Alright, so the gold's already dry, which is lucky for me. Now this comes with a tiny little dripper. And if you squeeze the dripper while you're sort of splattering, you get big drips. And if you don't, you just get little ones. I'm just going to dry that with the heat gun. Now a few little steps to finish this off, and I'm going to try and keep my hands out of the ink while I do it. I've just got a black fine tip marker, paint marker. And I'm just going to put a little outline on the numbers. Oops, make sure there's no drips. Okay, so I've got some metallics, we've got some sparkles, so we've got some matte paint. This is what the front cover's going to look like when it's closed, so not quite as busy as when it's open. And it just needs 1 or 2 final touches. So, Sharpie marker again. I'm going to add a few little doodly bits and pieces to this. What I like about the Sharpie is how it splatters sometimes, and it really does add some splatters, but because we've already got splatters on the background, it doesn't really matter. And then a teensy bit of my golden fine liner. You know I love this. Now this is going to be really challenging because not only is the background all different textures and surfaces about now, it's not flat, so it's going to be really difficult to write across the surface. So I don't know if I really want to do the whole thing or if I just want to sort of add some swishy elements across here. Alright, so as always, test the flow. Needs a bit more of a shake, I think. Cross your fingers for me. So I'm just going to add some little gold embellishments along the bottom. Just so it fits in with the writing. And add a bit more gold, to be truthful. I just have to wait for that to dry now. So this is what my front cover is going to look like. Kind of cool. And then embellishing with the same colours across the top keeps it consistent. And here we are, all finished. Now, I did have to clip this closed with a couple of little binder clips for about 2 days, so it sat flat again. Oh, look at that sparkle. Sorry, I'm getting distracted here. But it is now perfect. And now that it's been able to be closed, you can see that the front is very distinct from the back, but still matchy-matchy. I love both of them. Now, the little hints of metallic colour mixed with, okay, come on, am I the only one that's getting distracted by these beautiful shimmers? This was the glitter that I sprinkled over the top, so it's sort of like really chunky glitter particles. It's so pretty. And when you combine this with this beautiful poured background underneath here, you couldn't get that any other way. So I am really happy with how this has turned out, from the stenciled areas to the little bit of white pen over that stamped image, just to make it a little bit more unique. The gold, it's pretty. I love it. I think I might need to do a few more of these poured covers and experiment a little bit more with the acrylic pouring technique and some of the paints, just to see if I can get some bigger cells. What I'd love to know is if I can use some of my Finnabar Art Alchemy paints in the pouring medium. I might have to try that. So I hope you've enjoyed my poured background and finished journal cover, and that it inspires you to grab some of those Dina Wakley pouring mediums and cell creators and give it a try for yourself, because I'd love to see your experiments as well as mine. So I'll be back with more soon. Bye.